Today on the San Francisco 49ers Report, it's a bye week for the Niners, but our coverage doesn't take any breaks. We're talking all things Niners going into the NFL playoffs, and really excited for our playoff watch party for the divisional round. But look, we're going live for the wild card round as well right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. So come hang out. The best place to experience game day outside of being at the actual game, and this game here to my right is the one that we're going to be going live for. Has a lot of implications in the NFC playoffs, and we can do some scouting, and we can learn together what the Packers have to offer if they pull off the upset, or if a rematch with the Dallas Cowboys is on the horizon. This game starts at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. We'll be going live most likely about an hour before kickoff, so we hope to see you there. Let's take some of your questions here. A good one to start us off from Ryan. If Steve Wilks leaves the 49ers, Kris Kocurek for defensive coordinator. So the Niners have had a revolving door at defensive coordinator for the right reasons over the last couple of years, and it could happen once again if Steve Wilks were to get a head coaching job. The Los Angeles Chargers this week, early in the week, requesting permission to interview the Niners defensive coordinator. You had DeMeco Ryans leave for the Houston Texans, and now DeMeco and Houston won the AFC South. They are playoff bound. First time in NFL history that a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach won their division. Bobby Slowick, former Niners pass game coordinator, is their offensive coordinator. That's allowed C.J. Stroud to have a record-breaking rookie season. The offense is good. DeMeco Ryans has the defense humming. Robert Saleh, mixed results with the New York Jets. Would have been interested to see how that team performed with Aaron Rodgers. He's going to get another year with New York, and we'll see what happens with Steve Wilks. The Niners defense has been excellent this year, and really the word from players on why they like Wilks. Great leader, great communicator. He's a guy who leads by example, great communicator. The resume speaks for itself, but also he makes very complex defensive schemes very easy for players. And I think you see that with the good communication at all three levels of this defense. Now, in speaking of Kris Kocurek, that's been the name that's had a lot of buzz. And DeMeco Ryans thought about bringing him to the Houston Texans to be their defensive coordinator. Instead, he stays with the Niners. At some point, I would imagine that Kocurek wants to maximize his coaching career. While he is the best defensive line coach in the NFL by far, it's not even close, and he does such a great job of developing and maximizing players. Does he want to take that next step in his coaching progression? And could that be defensive coordinator? Maybe. Just not sure if the Niners would do it or not, if they'd be willing to take him out of his strength for DC. But if they were to risk losing him, maybe they do give him that position. Tom Daly with the $5 Super Chat question. All things being equal, Niners-Ravens Super Bowl. Who wins? I know that the Baltimore Ravens on the stat sheet on the scoreboard kind of dominated the San Francisco 49ers. I guess I should say just on the scoreboard solely. But if you look at the stat sheet, the 49ers fared well in that game. They ran for more than 100 yards. They had more yards per carry, more yards per play, more total yards. And the Niners were able to have explosive plays. They moved the football against Baltimore. But when you were -5 in the turnover department, you were literally not going to win any game unless you're playing a JV type of squad at the NFL level. It's just impossible to come back from. You want to counter with saying, well, chase this Niners defense. They gave up 7 straight scoring drives. That's not good. Yeah, but Lamar Jackson is very difficult to defend. He has a really good grouping of weapons, probably the best in his NFL career. And he's impossible to contain and to slow down. And when he's taken over around midfield, yeah, I expect him to be able to take advantage of that. If the Niners were to be able to play a clean game and they were able to look at the tape, make the necessary adjustments, grow from it, improve off of it, and Brock Purdy was able to not have the worst game of his professional career, I think the Niners can beat the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. And I do think they match up well with Baltimore. Daywalker next up. How long is Trent Williams going to play with us until he retires or leaves? I'm not sure. Trent Williams has had a hell of a career, man. And this is why he's going to go down as arguably the best left tackle of all time. He's 35 years old, and he was the 4th overall pick in 2010. That's the year I graduated high school. A lot of time has passed since then. And Trent Williams now, just historic what he's been able to do. He has made the Pro Bowl every single year since 2012. That's 11 straight seasons. He is 35 years old. And he did say after last year he was going to think about whether or not to return. And then very quickly after that, he said, I'm coming back. And then he's actually changed his tune a little bit this year. He said, God has given me the ability to play this game at an elite level. And he's given me this size and these gifts that I feel as though I have to take advantage of. And I feel pretty good. So we've seen left tackles be able to play deep into their 30s, sometimes into their 40s. Shoot, Jason Peters is still going in his 40s. Hopefully Trent Williams is going to be able to do the same. As long as his body doesn't give out on him, I think that Trent Williams can play at a high level for a really, really long time. Our sponsor for today's mailbag is Game Time. If you want to go to the divisional round matchup for San Francisco, regardless of who they play, because we're not sure yet, download the Game Time app. Best seats at the lowest price guaranteed, and you can get $20 off when you use the code NinersChat. What's cool about this app, the prices drop as the event gets closer. You're also able to see what you'll be seeing from your seats. And in the divisional round, there are tickets available for less than $300, standing room only. And then if you want to sit section 421, row 23, those tickets are available as well for about $330. So hop on board, download the Game Time app for free, and then if you use the code NinersChat, you get $20 off your purchase. As always, we're going to put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of this video. Our sponsor for today's mailbag, Game Time. Get in the game so that you can go to the game. Next up, Eddie Gris with the $2 Super Chat. Happy birthday. Had a great time on Sunday. I'm bringing you next time. Hey, man, I would love to go to a game. The only thing is we do our watch parties from the studio. During last week, I was at the College Football Media Hotel. We found a way to make it work. What a setup that we had. I was looking at a couple of games, and we were breaking it all down during the Week 18 action. And even though the game meant nothing, literally, for San Francisco, still had almost 100,000 people tuning in. I'm glad you had a great time. I'm sorry that you didn't get to see a lot of the starters play or get extended run, and you didn't even get to see Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, or George Kittle in uniform. But a day at the stadium, watching some football is always a good day. And hopefully at some point I can join alongside some of the faithful members to go to a game. That would be fun. Adrian Avila. A lot of people are going crazy with the Jake Moody misses. I think that he is fine. What do you think the Niners should do, and should they be concerned? I am a little bit concerned about Jake Moody because I'm just not sure how he's going to respond in a playoff type of atmosphere. The good news is he doesn't have to go to an unfamiliar stadium where he's unfamiliar with the wind patterns and wind direction. Up until the Super Bowl, he's going to be able to play at Levi's Stadium. But in the Super Bowl, he's going to have to go to Las Vegas if the Niners get there. And we know what happened against the Raiders in the first preseason game. Jake Moody had some awful misses. The numbers this year, not bad. 21 of 25. And then on extra points, 60 of 61. And you look at his splits, 20 to 29 yards, 7 of 7. 30 to 39 yards, 8 of 9. 40 to 49, 4 of 6. Against the Rams, missed an extra point, and he missed his first field goal inside 40 yards. On 50-plus yard field goals, he has a leg. We know that. 2 of 3. And so the numbers are pretty good. 84% on his field goal tries. He missed the same amount of kicks this year that he did last year, that Robbie Gould had last year. So, again, the issue is that he has inexperience. He's a young player. He's not familiar with the playoff stage. And you moved on from a legendary kicker in Robbie Gould, who was 29 for 29 in his playoff career, who had never missed in the playoffs, for a massive unknown and an inexperienced player in Jake Moody. So I am a little bit concerned because how is the pressure going to affect him if in the divisional round, NFC Championship game, in the Super Bowl, there's a pressure-packed kick in which he misses, and then the window for the Super Bowl-ready team closes just like that with players who are starting to get a little bit older just because it comes down to a rookie kicker. That would suck. That would be a kick right in the nuts. What Noodle 187? What worries you the most on our team, offense, defense, or special teams? Can we go to my concerns that we mentioned on one of our previous segments here, the concerns that I have with this team, wet noodle. Offensive line play, turning the ball over. I think the Niners only lose in the playoffs in the NFC if they beat themselves, if Purdy kind of shits the bed a little bit, and then kicker issues also concern me. The inability to play from behind, I also think is an issue. So, especially with Brock Purdy having not played 3 weeks between games coming up in the divisional round, you want to get off to a really fast start against a team that played the previous week. I think it's going to be really important for San Francisco to get off to a fast start, get an early lead to set the tone in that ball game. If not, maybe the pressure starts to creep in a little bit. Josh Brisson, happy birthday, buddy. Thank you, man. My birthday was on January 10th. Really appreciate that. Do you think that CMC is going to stay with the Niners? And do you think that Brock is going to get a big contract? So, you know what's interesting about Brock Purdy? After this year, 2 more years left on his deal. Do you look to get ahead of that and look to get him at a pretty affordable price tag, knowing that the contract isn't going to come into play for a couple of years, and then you're going to get him below the price tag that you could get him at if he were to play at an unbelievable level the next 2 years, to the point where, you know, he would demand well over $40 million? That's what I'm interested to see happen. And I'm interested to see how creative the San Francisco 49ers get with that particular situation. As for Christian McCaffrey, you just don't know how long running backs are going to last and how long they're going to remain in their prime. And what's crazy about the running back position is overnight, seemingly, they can just lose it because of the wear and tear on that body. And Christian McCaffrey has had a lot of wear and tear on his body. You know, he was an All-Pro in 2018, 2019. He was then hurt the next 2 years. Great for the Niners last year. Led the NFL in rushing yards and carries here in 2023. That wear and tear is real for running backs. But is he also able to extend his career because he's a good pass protector and he's a great weapon coming out of the backfield as a receiver, and he could play a little bit of slot receiver? I wonder if there's an evolution to Christian McCaffrey's career late in it where he just plays slot wide receiver with that footwork and the really good hands. He didn't drop a pass this year. Wild. Follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Chase_Senior. Love to hear and interact with all of you. And as always, thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe.